Welcome to the tvnews.tv for Thursday, March 17th, 2011. Hello, I'm Jeff Grimshaw, and yeah, it's the wearing of the green to be sure. And we begin with Arthur Sandow and his PR scription. You know, a few days ago, we reviewed the performance of the News, Info, and BizNets with respect to their coverage of the disaster in Japan. Now, we told you that many excelled, but some more or less dropped the ball during the critical hours. Well, here to look at the possible PR pitfalls of not quite living up to your media brand promise, especially when you're needed most, is media PR maven Arthur Sandow. Arthur.
Jeff, you'd think the cable networks would have gotten it right by now, but they still don't seem to have learned from their mistakes. Again, a catastrophe occurred on a weekend, and again, they stumbled out of the gate. Some have done better than others at recovering, but all seem to be operating under self-imposed constraints that are putting them at a disadvantage with new media. As you reported on Monday, the worst offenders over the weekend were the cable business nets, who continued to run paid programming and provided no insight to their audience, while the world's third largest economy was imperiled. All this week, their overnight coverage, while it's been daytime in Japan, still has been filled with repeats and infomercials. And the cable news networks have all disappointed during prime time this week by repeating programming with out-of-date information that has aired previously, rather than staying live with this changing minute-by-minute story. A crawl at the bottom of the screen just doesn't make up for it. Do they think that nobody's watching or nobody cares? It's as if on election night, after the races have been decided, the repeats are aired from before the polls even closed. The message to viewers seems to be, go somewhere else to find out what's going on in real time. And increasingly they are. They're going online and watching NHK and BBC and Al Jazeera. The historic events unfolding in Japan are mesmerizing and provide the cable industry a perfect opportunity to deliver on their brand promise of being the place to turn for comprehensive and complete coverage of breaking critical news. Yet, while they've sent the reporters to the scene, they're still addicted to their formats of repeats and paid programming. In this competitive world, they need to kick that habit and be bold and fast and flexible and stay live with a breaking story. By behaving as they do, they're motivating viewers to abandon television in favor of computers and mobile devices. And for the cable industry, that's a nightmare and a recipe for a PR disaster.
I got the message loud and clear. I hope the cable, news, info, and business networks get the message too. Thank you, Arthur, and we will talk to you next week. Okay, while we're on the subject of cable news, have a look at our spot of the week. We haven't done that for a while. This is for the Rachel Maddow show on MSNBC.
News is about stories. It's about finding all the disparate facts and then finding their coherence. Doing this right takes rigor and a devotion to facts that borders on obsessive.
So what's the explanation for what happened there?
Government was elected.
At the end of the day, though, this is about what's true in the world.
Good evening. We begin tonight with the story that no one is talking about.
Now, given that I have 30 years in TV marketing, I have my own opinions about this piece. But what I'd like to do is to ask you some questions, and via our tvnews.tv Facebook page, have you supply your opinions. Question 1. With a positioning statement of lean forward, doesn't this spot seem, well, pretty retro in strategy? Meaning news people talking about the way they collect news. It's pretty old-fashioned. Your thoughts? Question 2. Are we really that far gone that we require a primer on what news really is? Love to know your views on this. And finally, do you really care about how the actual act of news gathering affects Rachel Maddow's existence? Shouldn't her actions really affect you, the viewer's existence? What do you think? Okay, here are my overall thoughts. I said I wasn't, but I'm going to. Relentlessly self-serving, a throwback to the 80s, woefully non-engaging, but if that's NBC's definition of leaning forward, whatever the heck that's supposed to mean, well then so be it. Now remember, to weigh in on this, just head on over to the tvnews.tv on Facebook and fire away.
Future events and opportunities brought to you by Sandow Communications. Sound judgment, solid credibility, and superior results. This is Sandow Communications.
Now, as a sponsor of the TV news, you get big presents with our over 310,000 views by media decision makers. Plus, you're part of the tvnews.tv's social marketing initiative, which clout labels as meaningful within the TV industry and possessing true reach. Now, to become a big shot sponsor of the tvnews.tv, just shoot us an email at advertise@thetvnews.tv. The TV News wants to connect with you on Facebook, on Twitter, and on LinkedIn. And here's how we can connect. And that about does it for this edition of the TV News. We'll be back tomorrow with a fresh edition, and that will be led by Eric Mackerlin and the Sports TV News. I'm Jeff Grimshaw. We thank you very much for watching, and as always, go out and make it a good day.